3 years. That is how long Melissa and I had been married when I decided to make our anniversary perfect. I booked a table at her favorite restaurant, bought red roses, and spent weeks finding the right gift. She told me she had to work late that night, but I trusted her completely. I had no idea that evening would shatter everything I believed about love, family, and loyalty. I never imagined the people I called family would ask me to forgive the unforgivable. And I definitely never thought I would walk away from all of them. Before I tell you what happened that night, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever had your trust destroyed by someone you loved, hit that like button because you are not alone in this. And subscribe because this story gets darker before it gets better, and you will want to hear how it ends. Now, let me take you back to that night and show you how quickly a life can fall apart. Melissa and I met 5 years ago at a coffee shop in Portland. She was reading a book about digital marketing, and I spilled my latte trying to grab a napkin from the table next to hers. We laughed about it, talked for 2 hours, and exchanged numbers before leaving. 3 months later, we were inseparable. 2 years after that, I proposed to her at the same coffee shop where we met. We got married in a small ceremony with close friends and family, then moved into a cozy apartment in the Pearl District. Our life together felt simple and good. I worked as a software engineer for a tech company downtown. Melissa worked as a marketing coordinator for a startup that was just beginning to grow. Every morning, we would eat breakfast together before heading to our jobs. On weekends, we cooked dinner, watched movies, and talked about buying a house someday. We had plans. We had dreams. And I thought we had trust. Her parents, Donald and Carol, treated me like their own son from the beginning. Donald taught me how to fish at their cabin near Mount Hood. Every summer we would spend a weekend there, just the 3 of us, casting lines into the lake and talking about life. Carol baked apple pie every Thanksgiving and always saved me the biggest slice. She would say I needed it because I worked too hard and did not eat enough. They made me feel like I belonged to something bigger than just Melissa and me. They made me feel like I had found a family. About 3 weeks before our anniversary, things started to change. Melissa began working with a new client, a company called Apex Digital Solutions. She told me their account manager, a guy named Troy, was very demanding about timelines and deliverables. I noticed she started checking her phone more often. She would get calls late at night and step into the other room saying it was a work emergency. At first, I did not think much of it. I figured she was just stressed about the new project and wanted to do well, but the signs were there. I just did not want to see them. One evening, about 10 days before our anniversary, I asked her if she was okay. She looked tired, and I could tell something was weighing on her. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone with this distracted look on her face. I sat down next to her and said, "You okay? You seem stressed lately." She glanced up at me and sighed. "Just this new client. Troy is being really demanding about the campaign timeline." "Want me to cook dinner so you can rest?" I offered. She smiled, but it did not quite reach her eyes. "That would be great. You are the best." I went into the kitchen and made her favorite pasta dish. While I cooked, I told myself I was being a good husband. I was supporting her during a tough time at work. I even gave her a shoulder massage later that night while we watched television. She leaned into me and whispered, "Thank you." I felt like I was doing everything right. A week before our anniversary, I mentioned our special day. I was excited. I had already made a reservation at Andina, the restaurant where we had our first date. I wanted everything to be perfect. "So, next Friday," I said while we were getting ready for bed. 3 years. I was thinking we could go to Andina, where we had our first date. She paused while brushing her hair. "Oh, right. I might have to work late that night. Big presentation for Apex. I felt my stomach drop. On our anniversary, cannot you reschedule? I will try, she said quickly. But Troy said it is the only time the CEO is available. I did not say anything else. I just nodded and got into bed. But inside I felt hurt. How could she forget our anniversary? How could work be more important than us? Still, I decided to make the best of it. I kept the reservation. I bought the roses anyway. I even found a silver necklace with a pendant shaped like the letter M and had it wrapped in a small blue box. She promised she would be home before 9 o'clock that night, and I believed her. But I also started noticing other things. She was dressing nicer for work. She wore perfume I had never smelled before, not the one I bought her last Christmas. She started putting on makeup even on days she said she would be working from home. When I asked why, she just said she had video calls with clients and wanted to look professional. On the morning of our anniversary, I woke up early and made breakfast. I cooked pancakes with fresh strawberries and blueberries, her favorite. She came into the kitchen already dressed, moving fast like she was in a hurry. "Happy anniversary, Mel," I said, handing her the bouquet of roses. "Oh, thanks," she said, barely looking at them. "Look, I really have to run. We will celebrate tonight, okay? Promise you will be home by 9, I asked. "I promise," she said, kissing me quickly on the cheek. She did not look me in the eyes. She just grabbed her purse and left. I stood there in the kitchen holding the plate of pancakes I had made for her and felt a strange emptiness settle in my chest. I told myself I was overreacting. I told myself she was just busy, but deep down something felt wrong. I went to work that day, but I could not focus. I kept checking my phone, hoping she would text me something sweet or romantic. She did not. At 5 o'clock, I left the office, stopped by the florist to buy more roses, and picked up a bottle of red wine. I went home and set up the dining table with candles, the good plates we only used for special occasions, and the food I had prepared earlier. At 6:30, I called her. "Hey, just checking in," I said. "Still on for 9? "Yeah," she said, but her voice sounded distant. "Actually, might be closer to 10. This meeting is running long." "Okay," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I will keep dinner warm. Love you." "Uh-huh, got to go." She hung up. I stood there in our apartment surrounded by candles and roses and felt like an idiot. At 8 o'clock that night, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my best friend Marcus. "Dude, is not tonight your anniversary?" I replied. "Yeah, Mel is working late." 3 dots appeared on the screen. Then his message came through. "Working. I just saw someone who looks exactly like her at the Pearl Lounge downtown. With some guy." My heart stopped. My hands started shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. I called Marcus immediately. "Are you sure it was her?" I asked. "I mean, I am like 80% sure," Marcus said. "Same hair, same height. She was wearing this red dress. I only saw her from across the room, but man, it really looked like Melissa." "Send me a picture," I said. A few seconds later, a blurry photo came through. It was taken from far away, but I could see a woman with dark hair sitting close to a man in a booth. She was wearing a red dress, the same red dress I had bought her for her birthday last year. I did not think. I just grabbed my keys and ran out the door. I got in my car and drove toward downtown Portland. My mind was racing. Maybe it was not her. Maybe Marcus made a mistake. Maybe there was some other explanation. I tried calling her. No answer. I sent a text, "Where are you?" No response. The Pearl Lounge was 15 minutes from our apartment, but it felt like hours. I parked on the street and walked toward the entrance. The place was dimly lit with soft music playing, and people laughing inside. I walked slowly toward the window and looked in. That is when I saw her. Melissa was sitting in a corner booth with a man I did not recognize. He was tall, probably in his mid-30s, with brown hair styled back. He wore a navy blue suit and a Rolex on his wrist. Troy. It had to be him. They were sitting close. Too close. He was holding her hand. She was laughing at something he said, her head tilted back, her smile wide and genuine. I had not seen her smile like that in weeks. I pulled out my phone and started recording. My hands were shaking so badly I had to lean against the wall to steady myself. The video captured everything. Troy leaned in and kissed her. She did not pull away. She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him back. It was not a quick peck. It was deep, passionate, the kind of kiss that told me this was not the first time. They pulled apart, still smiling. He poured champagne into 2 glasses and they clinked them together. She ran her fingers along his hand and said something that made him laugh. I recorded for 3 minutes and 45 seconds before I could not take it anymore. I walked into the bar. My legs felt like they were moving on their own. I went straight to their table. When Melissa looked up and saw me, her face went completely white. "Working late, huh?" I said. "Irving," she gasped. This is not..." Troy looked at me confused. "Who the hell are you?" "I am her husband." I said, my voice louder than I intended. "Who the hell are you?" "Irving, please let me explain," Melissa started. "Explain what?" I cut her off. "That you are here kissing another man on our anniversary while I am at home with candles and dinner." Troy stood up, looking between us. "Look, man, I did not know she was married." "Bullshit," I said, pointing at Melissa's hand. "She wears a ring." I looked at her left hand. The wedding ring was gone. "I took it off," she whispered. I did not say anything else. I turned around and walked out of the bar. Behind me, I heard Melissa calling my name, but I did not stop. I got in my car and drove home. My vision was blurry. I realized I was crying. 15 minutes later, she came home. I was sitting on the couch, staring at the wall. The candles had burned down. The food was cold. She walked in slowly, her eyes red and puffy. "Irving, please listen to me. It was a mistake." "How long?" I asked, not looking at her. "What? How long have you been sleeping with him?" "Irving, do not answer me." She flinched. 2 months, she said quietly, "but it does not mean anything." 2 months. I stood up. 2 months. While I have been cooking for you, supporting you, planning our future? It just happened, she said, tears streaming down her face. He was there. He listened to me. He made me feel. "Feel what?" I interrupted. "Special." Because I did not. "No. You are wonderful, but I do not know Irving. I got confused." "Confused?" I laughed bitterly. "You were not confused when you took off your ring. You were not confused when you kissed him." I started walking toward the bedroom. She followed me. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To pack your things," I said. "Please," she begged, grabbing my arm. "We can work through this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want." I pulled my arm away. "Get out." "This is my home too," she said. "Then I will leave." I grabbed my keys and walked toward the door. "Irving, wait." I did not wait. I left and drove to Marcus's place. He let me crash on his couch without asking any questions. 2 days later, Melissa called her parents. I do not know exactly what she told them, but I can guess. She probably said I misunderstood. She probably said it was just a colleague and I overreacted. She probably painted herself as the victim. Donald called me the next morning. "Irving, son, we need to talk," he said. "Can you come by the house?" I thought he was going to support me. I thought he would be angry at Melissa for what she did. So I drove to their house in Beaverton, the same house where I had spent so many holidays and weekends. When I walked in, Melissa was sitting on the couch next to Carol. Her eyes were red and swollen. Donald gestured for me to sit in the armchair across from them. "Irving's son," Donald began. Melissa told us what happened. "Good," I said. "Then you know she has been cheating on me for 2 months." Carol frowned. "Now, hold on." She said it was just a misunderstanding. "You saw her with a colleague and jumped to conclusions." I could not believe what I was hearing. I pulled out my phone. "A misunderstanding?" I said, my voice rising. "Want to see the video?" I opened the video and handed the phone to Donald. He watched it, his face serious but unreadable. Carol leaned over to look. I watched their expressions, waiting for them to be shocked, to be angry at Melissa, to apologize to me. Instead, Donald handed the phone back. "Okay, so she made a mistake," he said calmly. "She is human." I stared at him. "A mistake? She planned this for 2 months." Carol shook her head. "Irving, marriage is about forgiveness. We all stumble. You need to forgive her and move forward." "Are you serious right now?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Watch your tone, son," Donald said firmly. "We are trying to help you save your marriage." "Save my marriage?" I stood up. "I am not the one who destroyed it." "Melissa loves you," Carol said. "She wants to make this work. Cannot you see how much she is hurting?" I looked at Melissa. She was crying into her hands, her shoulders shaking. Part of me wanted to feel sorry for her, but another part of me, the part that had been broken 2 nights ago, felt nothing. "How much she is hurting," I repeated. "What about me?" "You are young," Donald said. "You will get over it. But divorce? That is permanent. Think about your future, the family we have built." "The family we built?" I laughed bitterly. "What family? The one where your daughter cheats and you all expect me to just accept it?" Melissa looked up. "Irving, please." "I will do anything." "Anything except take responsibility," I said. Carol stood up. "Irving, if you love her, you will forgive her. That is what real men do." That sentence hit me like a punch to the gut. Real men. As if staying with someone who betrayed me made me strong. As if letting myself be disrespected made me a man. I looked at the 3 of them. Donald with his stern expression. Carol with her judgmental eyes. Melissa with her tears that suddenly felt manipulative. "Let me get this straight," I said slowly. "I show you video proof that your daughter cheated on me on our anniversary and you want me to forgive her." "It is the Christian thing to do," Donald said. "Do not bring religion into this," I snapped. "This is about right and wrong." "Melissa made a mistake, yes," Carol said. "But you are throwing away 3 years over 1 night." 1 night, I felt my anger rising. It was 2 months, and tonight was not even the first time I stopped myself. It did not matter. They were never going to see it my way. I looked at all 3 of them and realized something that made my chest ache. These people I had called family for 3 years, the people I had shared holidays with, the people I thought would always have my back, were choosing her. Not because she was right, but because she was their daughter. "You know what?" I said quietly. "I am done." "Irving, do not be rash," Carol started. But I was not listening anymore. I turned to Melissa. "You will hear from my lawyer Monday morning." Her face crumpled. "What?" "No Irving, please. And Donald Carroll." I said, looking at them, "Thank you for showing me who you really are." "Irving, you are making a huge mistake," Donald said, standing up. "The only mistake I made was not seeing this sooner," I said. Donald's face hardened. "If you divorce her, you are going to regret this." "The only thing I regret," I said, walking toward the door, "is wasting 3 years on people who do not understand loyalty." I walked out. I heard Melissa calling my name, but I did not turn around. I got in my car and drove away. For the first time in 3 days, I felt like I could breathe. The next Monday, I hired a lawyer. Her name was Helen, a woman in her early 50s who had been through her own divorce years ago. She looked at the video, looked at me, and said, "You have everything you need. The video, the timeline, witnesses if needed. This will be clean." I moved in with Marcus temporarily. His apartment was small, but he did not mind. He gave me his spare room and told me to stay as long as I needed. Melissa tried calling me. 35 missed calls in the first week. 25 text messages, all begging me to talk to her. I blocked her number. Donald and Carol sent me a long email. They accused me of abandoning their daughter, of being cruel and unforgiving. They said I was breaking their family apart. I did not reply. Oregon is a no-fault divorce state, which meant I did not need to prove adultery to end the marriage. But having the video helped me keep the assets we had accumulated together. The apartment was in my name. Melissa had to move out. I kept the car, the savings account, and all the furniture. She hired her own lawyer, paid for by her parents, but there was not much she could fight for. The divorce process took time. The first few weeks were the hardest. I felt hollow. I would wake up in the middle of the night reaching for someone who was not there. I kept thinking about the good times, the laughter, the plans we had made. But then I would remember the video. I would remember the look on her face when she kissed him. And the sadness would turn into something else. Not anger, just acceptance. Marcus was a good friend. He did not push me to talk. He just let me exist. We would watch basketball games and eat takeout, and he would tell me stupid jokes until I cracked a smile. Slowly, I started to feel a little more like myself. 2 months after I left, I started seeing a therapist. Her name was Dr. Patterson, and she specialized in helping people recover from betrayal. The first session, I told her everything. She listened without judgment and then said something I will never forget. "Trust is rebuilt slowly, Irving. But before you can trust anyone else, you need to trust yourself." I thought about that a lot. I realized I had ignored my gut feelings. I had seen the signs, but I chose to believe Melissa instead of believing myself. I decided I would never do that again. I started taking care of myself. I joined a gym and started running along the Willamette River every morning before work. The physical activity helped clear my head. Marcus introduced me to his group of friends, and I started joining their poker nights on Fridays and hiking trips on Saturdays. I met other people who had gone through divorces. We shared our stories, and I realized I was not alone. One of the guys, Graham, was 42 and had been divorced for 5 years. He told me, "Best thing I ever did was leave. 5 years later, I am remarried to an amazing woman, happier than I have ever been. You will get there too, man." I started to believe him. I deleted every photo of Melissa from my phone. I donated her belongings that she left behind to Goodwill. I repainted the bedroom a deep blue color, replacing the cream shade she had chosen. I was erasing her from my life piece by piece, and it felt liberating. 6 months after I filed for divorce, the papers were finalized. I was officially single again. That same week, I received an email from Melissa. The subject line was just one word, "Sorry." I opened it. The message was short. "I am sorry for everything. I hope you are happy." I stared at the screen for a long time. Part of me wanted to reply. Part of me wanted to tell her how much she had hurt me, how much her parents had hurt me. But I did not. I just closed the email and moved on. A few weeks later, I got a promotion at work, senior engineer with a 12% raise. I used the extra money to take a solo trip to Seattle, then Vancouver. I explored cities I had never been to, ate at restaurants I chose, and made decisions without having to consider anyone else. It felt strange at first, but then it felt freeing. I started dating again, but I took it slow. Coffee dates, casual dinners, nothing serious. I met a woman named Leah on a hiking trail near Mount Hood. We talked for an hour at the summit, exchanged numbers, and started texting. She was kind, funny, and patient. She did not push me to open up, and I appreciated that. I am not rushing into anything. I am just learning to trust again, one small step at a time. Now, almost a year later, I sit on the balcony of my apartment and look out at the Portland skyline. The city lights flicker in the distance, and I feel something I have not felt in a long time. Peace. Looking back that night at her parents' house was the moment I realized something crucial. Some people will always choose comfort over truth. They will defend the person they love even when that person is wrong. And that is okay. But I do not have to be part of it. Cutting them all off was not easy, but it was necessary. Because I deserved to be surrounded by people who valued integrity, not just image. I deserved people who would stand by me when I was right, not people who would ask me to tolerate being wronged. Melissa texted me last month. She and Troy broke up. She wanted to talk. I did not respond. Not out of anger, but because I have moved on. That chapter of my life is closed, and I have no desire to reopen it. Sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It is building a life so good you forget why you were angry in the first place. I have a career I love, friends who support me, and a future that belongs entirely to me. If you are going through something similar right now, I want you to remember this. You cannot force people to see your worth, but you can refuse to settle for those who do not. You can walk away from people who ask you to shrink yourself to make them comfortable, and you can rebuild piece by piece until you look around and realize you are exactly where you are supposed to be. 3 years felt like forever back then. Now, it is just a chapter I am glad I closed. If this story resonated with you, I have a few questions. Have you ever had to cut off people you considered family because they refused to see the truth? Have you ever been asked to forgive something unforgivable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I would love to hear your story. If you found this helpful or relatable, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this channel and realize they are not alone. And if you have not already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss future stories. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Sometimes we all need a reminder that walking away is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you find peace in whatever situation you are facing. Stay strong and remember you deserve better.